Hello and welcome to the Chosen Lifeline for Women. My name is Charmaine Jennings and I've been called to challenge and change the worth, willpower, and wisdom of women. This episode is dedicated to wisdom straight from the book of Proverbs. And man, I decided to name this one Hurt People, Hurt People. And you know what? Recently, my oldest daughter, she's so smart. I love her. She loves to help keep me updated with the culture, right? And the things that are changing. And so there's constant words that really dehumanize and marginalize people, and so this one really is from a scripture that uses the word prostitute, and that is no longer an appropriate term to use. Prostitute, it is usually a sex worker and things like that. And so I just want to clarify this, but I entitled this wisdom, this lifeline of wisdom, about how hurt people hurt people. And so this scripture from the book of Proverbs, 23rd chapter, 27th and the 28th verse, it reads, "A prostitute is a dangerous trap. A promiscuous woman is as dangerous as falling into a narrow well. She hides and waits like a robber, eager to make more men unfaithful." And I remember growing up in church and things and hearing things like this, right? And it almost was a scripture that was used to really judge women who were in that industry. You're a sex worker, or women who, pretty much who sold their bodies for money or exchanged sex for either drugs, alcohol, or some type of something that they wanted, right? And so, but many, one thing that I always heard, it's easy to read a scripture, take it for face value, literal, and kind of go there. And it's easy to separate yourself and say, well, I'm not doing that. That's this person, this toxic person, and it's not me. But at some point, all of us have been hurt. And when you're hurt, and you don't get the help that you need, you don't have the support that you need, the community and the environment, it is very easy to hurt other people. And so I liken this to, again, hurt people hurt people. Who wakes up in the morning and says, you know what? This is the profession I want to be in. I want to be a sex worker. Almost no one, okay? No one wakes up in the morning and says that they want to be a sex worker, or that they want to be an addict, or that they want to be a murderer, or someone who's just doing these very toxic behaviors, right? And hurting people. But the reality is, hurt people hurt people. So how many times, and I'm challenging us as wise people, right, as women who want to really stretch ourselves, how many times do we ask ourselves, but why? I wonder why this individual, or how this individual, why have they found themselves in this space? How did they get here? Why is this their experience, right? What happened, right? As opposed to saying, well, this is me and who I am, and that's them. And, that's their lifestyle, and I would never do that. We'll never say never, because hurt people hurt people. And while you may not be literally doing what the scripture says, right? And it talks about, again, a promiscuous woman is as dangerous as falling into a narrow well. Well, if you fall into a narrow space, in a well specifically, that's typically, there's no area to grip. You fall in a narrow well, there's no getting out of it. So it's almost saying that, when you connect yourself to an individual who is experiencing this type of pain, this hardship, it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out once you have been mixed in this company. And so, again, to me, it's a lesson that, when don't surround yourself with people who are hurting, people who have been in pain, because most people, again, while they did not volunteer to go in that profession, 9 out of 10 times someone who was hurt lured them into that profession, or most of the time they're slaves. They don't even have a choice. Their free will decision was taken away from them. And most of you talk to a lot of people in this profession, they were abused as a child. It stemmed in childhood. And it is that brokenness. It is that place of trauma. It is that place of just not feeling whole and not having the support that you needed, the environment, the grown-ups in your life to support and protect you, that really led them down this path. And so while that's not everyone's story, it is a lot of people's story. And so the biggest thing that I want you to take from this is that it is important for young girls to be protected. to protect our children, to look after them, to not make assumptions, to really initiate conversations with them, to always tell them, you know what, any lie that an adult will tell you, if an adult tells you something and I'm not around and they ever tell you not to tell me, that is the first thing I want you to do. If they say that if you tell your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your aunt, your uncle, your nephew, your cousin, or whatever, I'll kill you, you know what, you need to, that is the very thing I want you to do, is come and tell me, because one, they're lying to you, right? They're not going to do me harm. And you know what? They're harming me by telling you to keep something from me that's going to hurt you. And so we always want children to know, I will always believe you. I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, you telling me that somebody did something to me, I will always believe you. That is powerful. That is one of the best things we can tell our children. I will always believe you. Come to me, talk to me. And any adult that wants to talk to you out of my presence, they want you to keep a secret from me, and I'm your guardian, I'm your protector, I'm your biggest cheerleader. That's a problem. And that's a red flag. And so we want to protect our children, but we know that hurt people. And this scripture just reminds me of that. It's not even about the lifestyle of a woman who gives and sells her body, but it is like, why? Why is this occurring? Why do we have so much human trafficking happening? Why do we have so much pain? Because you know what? It's an industry, and it's $1 billion industry, because guess what? There are people out here who patronize the industry. They pay for sex workers. They pay for these pleasures, and it is rooted in hurt people. And so to judge the woman, as it says in the scripture, this prostitute, this promiscuous woman, then you also need to think fully about everyone that needs to be judged. The people who are capitalizing on it, the people who are partaking in the behaviors, the people that are making this an industry. And so we have a lot to pray about. We have a lot of people to pray for. And so this episode of Wisdom, I pray that it is one where we will all fall on our knees, pray, and really do the work, support any organization who serves and supports women who are in, really trapped in this industry of sex work, in the, people, children who are being abducted. We just want to really support that work. We want to support all organizations and workers and individuals who have come out. Celebrate the survivors. Celebrate the survivors. There is no room for judgment. There is only room for putting your hands to the work. That is hands to pray, knees to be on the ground, and heads to look up towards heaven, to really pray and ask God to really support that this would stop, and what our role, each of our roles, is in this responsibility. This is your Lifeline, your Chosen Lifeline. My name is Charmaine Jennings. Reach out to us on chosenlifespecialist.com. Reach out, book a session with me. If you want to enhance your worth, your willpower, or your wisdom, reach out, book a session. Give me 6 sessions with you. That's a full coaching cycle, and I promise you will make progress. Until next lifetime.